Okay, welcome everyone. In this session, we're going to be looking at different EdTech that's been particularly good for our staff during lockdown, but also beyond lockdown, using iPads and leveraging incredible capabilities within iPad to actually use different sites and apps. Now, purpose of this event today is to share the top 10. That's what I've managed to whittle it down to, of tools that have proven themselves to be rather the most valuable to our staff. So my name's Scott. I'm a teacher. I teach media, also teach about teaching. And most of the time now, I am not just a teacher, I'm also doing other bits as well, like this, helping people with technology. It's my job to help all staff and all students with technology. I've got a wonderful team of former students who've become apprentices and become technologists who I'm very proud to say are employed by the college to actually help us train up staff. That's a model we're really proud of, actually. So if you work for an institution who wants to implement a student digital leader program to help them grow into members of your staff to help in EdTech, get in touch. We'd love to help you with that. It's really valuable thing indeed, and it's helped us as an institution to grow and develop. I work at BCoT, Basingstoke College of Technology, and in the last few years, we've had some pleasant things said about the way we've been using technology. We've got quite agnostic approach to technology, really. We aren't sort of in awe of only one of the big branded gods. We use a mixture of Microsoft, Google, Apple, Adobe, and that's the way we like it because that reflects the real world. Now, Apple technology, as we know, is incredibly powerful, and we've been leveraging the incredible tools that we can have access to. It's really important to us we have accessibility across different platforms where possible. It's really important to us that we are agnostic, and it's really important to us that we are led by the pedagogy. That is great teaching and learning. So we only share things that we genuinely believe in and have seen to improve learning. So it is an Apple Regional Training Centre event, so we are going to focus on Apple-related tools for the iPad, but I'm going to try to include other ways of using these apps and sites as well across different platforms, as well as the iPad. So let's have a look, shall we? Here's what I need from you. You can have your iPad, and got to have your iPad with you right now. You can watch this back and then pause, rewind it, revisit it as you please. But you might want to play along with your iPad. You might want to be doodling, downloading as I'm talking to you and actually playing with some of the apps that tickle your fancy. Or you might just want to be present and to actually comment and to ask questions if you like. Turn on your mic by all means, and to share with us an open-minded approach to embracing new forms of technology that can enhance teaching, learning, and assessment. The first one then that we recommend is Flipgrid. Flipgrid's good, and we've seen it used incredibly well at the college. Incredibly well to help our students access materials, to have our teachers create resources and short videos for students to watch back. This here is a great example from Teaching from the Ridge, this blogger that I've been following recently, who shares how teachers can actually leverage and use Flipgrid to create little videos. Flipgrid is a site and an app from Microsoft that enables you to record short video clips, whether it be 30 seconds up to 5 minutes. Short instruction whereby teachers or students can record themselves as little snippets for people to take instruction, to share their thoughts. And what's really nice about Flipgrid is that, yes, it can be used in this incredibly innovative way by teachers, but it can also be used by teachers for CPD events. It can be whereby you have appropriately enough a grid full of different short images to show the video responses to video at the top. So the teacher posts a video, or the person leading the Flipgrid topic posts a video, and then underneath it, we see this incredibly differentiated response. Now, some students are shy. The reason I like Flipgrid, and the reason it worked well using iPad in particular during lockdown, was the fact it could be differentiated. So here's an example of me using it in the classroom and also using it during lockdown. I can post a question, or rather my students can post a question on Flipgrid, and by doing that, their peers can respond to what they have said. There's the wonderful Izuku using one of the templates, posting about the project he's working on. Underneath it, Becky, who's somewhat more shy than Izuku, who's pixelated herself there to respond. Underneath that, in the thread, comes Shannon responding. Though she wasn't wearing her pajamas, but teaching during lockdown, you know what it's like. Responds also to what Becky and Izuku have said. Then you can see me come in, responding as well. Underneath that, in the thread, is Izuku responding as well. So Flipgrid enables you to respond using video, to pixelate yourself out, to use filters from 30 seconds up to 5 minutes in a nice, innovative, free-flowing, threaded conversation. If your students are really shy and want to record only their voice, they can do that. They might choose to use different filters. They might choose to only type their response. Ideally, they'll be practicing their communication skills using the camera. It's embarrassing being on camera. We all know that, but it's a part of life now. And in terms of the digital capabilities and skills and confidence and communication skills, it's really important for us to have our students practice in these sandbox-like environments to build up their confidence. So using Flipgrid with its forward-facing camera to record short video clips, and you can put filters on, emojis and templates to make it quite fun and interactive. Or you can just record, like I did just there, a simple, straightforward little video using my iPad. But the differentiation is the key thing here. And this is why it works well with our travel and tourism students, our public services students, and here with my media students. They could choose how they responded. They could use images in lieu of an actual video. So there was a placeholder on the screen. It meant everybody could contribute and join in, which is what we want, of course. Really nice way to get formative checks on learning and to see how they're all getting on. The second tool we recommend for using on iPads is Adobe Spark. Much like Flipgrid, can be used on other platforms as well, but was particularly good on the iPad, we found, because the 3 different apps that are available are incredibly effective. We'll look at them now. So we'll start off by looking at Post. So Spark Post enables you to create short graphics. Now, our makeup students and our beauty students and our hair students during lockdown were creating promotional materials, templates, and social media posts to promote their services, to share their work, to get peer feedback on Instagram and the websites and blogs they were working on. Adobe Spark is used by a lot of marketing companies to actually create these templates and to help people to create graphics. Really, really nice, sophisticated artificial intelligence baked into it helps you to create your graphics, suggesting templates, suggesting fonts. What's also nice about Adobe Spark is that it's not just a graphics creator. You can record presentations using Adobe Spark. You can, as the GIF illustrates, record your voice while there's some images on the screen. Now, when we couldn't do presentations or share ideas in person, using the iPad to capture visuals, videos, vlogs of the students, or just their voice of them talking through their process, their ideas, and presenting it in a really nice professional way using Adobe Spark, we saw incredible results. We saw real interesting impact, and we saw real confidence growing. And what's nice about this is that when the students can record it themselves, screencast it themselves, as it were, with the iPad, they tend to rehearse more, they practice more, they put in a bit more time because they can play it back and go, oh, that's not very good. I didn't get that right. I'm going to do it again. And what we tend to get as the teachers is the 9th or 10th or 11th iteration. If you were to be in the classroom doing a presentation, you know what it's like. So a lot of students won't rehearse or practice at all because it's nerve-wracking. We'll just get up and try to get through it, as it were. This really gives agency to the students to practice using nice, simple, elegant tools that help them with the design of their slides and enable them to have more time and energy to focus on what matters most, which is their communication skills, their learning. The graphics creator in Adobe Spark post is really good, really nice, really elegant, really simple. So for our beauty and makeup students, creating posts on their socials to promote their work, to keep people coming into our salon where we are quite busy at the moment. Now we're back open. I need to pay them a visit soon as well. We can keep their skills fresh with digital capabilities using these different tools to help drum up business, as it were. A massive part of the beauty and hair and hospitality industry, of course, as well. Haven't got to be a graphic designer to make some graphic design posters or infographics or placeholders or social media posts. Adobe Spark is really recommended. Another aspect of Adobe Spark that's worth sharing with you is the web page feature. So the web page feature is magnificent, and a lot of my students use this to actually create their essays now at the moment. So students can sign in with their school accounts, and then they get all these things for free, so it's worth them doing that. When they click on the blue button up here, they get an option to create, as you can see, these lovely templates like Instagram stories, Facebook posts, branded graphics, but the web page one is well worth looking at. The web page one enables the students to use, again, the artificial intelligence to help them build, add text, add videos, add glide shows, add photos as they go through their essay, and to add in images to accompany and anchor their text, to augment and amplify, to put in videos, to make it really rich when they're done with their work, which all auto saves in the cloud on the iPad app or the web browser if you're using that, so you can jump between. They can press the share button, much like you would a Word document online or a Google Doc. Publish and share link. So here's one I created using my iPad, which I just screencasted on my Chrome browser when I was on a laptop. You can see that in about 5 minutes, I managed to plonk loads of images here and screenshots and some text, and it creates this nice, quite interactive web page. As a way of our students presenting work, or even of our teachers presenting their slides, as it were, Adobe Spark is pretty powerful. Right, next one then. Quizlet. Quizlet is a wonderful, magnificent tool with loads of pre-built free quizzes, games, drag and drop, flashcards, and it plays really nicely with lots of other EdTech like Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. Quizlet is a really powerful tool because it, teaching GCSE maths, run a search on GCSE maths, and you're going to find an enormous amount of pre-built, peer-reviewed, wonderful tools which you can leverage and use. Now, Quizlet can be used as a simple quiz. It can be used as a space for drag and drop tasks to identify terminology. It can be used to teach about languages. It can be used to label diagrams. In any different number of ways we can use this tool to actually test our students and to get them thinking about how best to apply their learning. As a bit of formative learning, it's quite magnificent. And I think that in English and maths, this is something I'm going to be using a lot more next year. This timer feature is really effective as well. You have to work against the clock to actually solve the problem, as it were. English in particular, it's been quite successful, and ESOL have been using this a fair amount this year as well, English speakers of other languages. Here's some gifts from online which I've borrowed from the Quizlet site just to illustrate some of the impact. Because of GDPR reasons, I couldn't share too many of our examples. Some of our students were too shy to let me even share screenshots. I've used some of the ones from Quizlet to demonstrate to you the power of this free tool. Our iPad, the touchscreen nature of it, made it quite easy to write, to spell, to highlight, to drag and drop. And a lot of our teachers and students using iPads said that they actually engaged with it a lot more than they did when they were using a mouse and a laptop screen. Or something about that interactive, tangible nature of interacting with the quiz that made it a bit more of a sticky environment for their learning, which is quite interesting to hear from them. Now, using tools like Quizlet as a formative check on learning just to test their understanding is something that we've been using an awful lot of as a way to automate assessments and to actually free up more of our teachers' time to focus on the one-to-ones and to focus on the bit that can never be replaced, the human mentoring and checks on learning. Using these EdTech tools is never a replacement for the teacher, ever. It's always an augmentation, enhancement. Jamboard from Google. Really good tool. Whiteboard tool.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what you need. What can I do for you?
That's happened at some point, didn't it? This Jamboard tool is really useful in the sense that students can use
Jamboard? Sorry, I'm not sure.
Students can use it to ensure that they are keeping on top of their progress, to actually ensure that they are demonstrating understanding. You can give templates to students for them to annotate and to draw on. We can give empty spaces for them to let us know how they're feeling. We can give Jamboard spaces to our students to fill in answers to equations, to-do lists, or to highlight and annotate documents to actually show what they know or don't know about a particular task. The touchscreen nature of using this on iPad, adding in images, adding in post-its, drawing, annotating, was far more freeing than, again, being at the mouse and the screen. Tools like OneNote, while absolutely wonderful, don't tend to get the same level of engagement when, as opposed to a touchscreen device and a whiteboard tool such as Microsoft Whiteboard or Jamboard that we've noticed. The idea that our students could use, memes, GIFs, images, sketches, screenshots of web pages to actually show their understanding was quite powerful to show their understanding during lockdown in particular. And in maths, we're doing a session in a week or so's time with our maths teams to actually show how they use Jamboard for their teaching and learning during lockdown. Jamboard was an enormous win. Using Apple Pencil and the iPad to actually sketch out equations, to actually share on the Google Meet like we're doing right now, to have the students join in and to sketch and take turns doing so, was an enormously impactful way for our maths team to share that experience, that round the campfire approach, as it were, to actually doing something collaboratively in real time, which when we was in lockdown was a much needed experience. All those real-time live synchronous tasks were appreciated by our students. Having Joe in particular from the maths team sketch and draw and in real time annotate with his voice and talk them through processes like this was really well received by our students. The artificial intelligence baked into Jamboard that turns your sketches into geometric shapes like this or text and equations like this is something that we highly recommend. Google Jamboard on iPad is only getting better as well, for increasing amounts of updates that auto saves in Drive as well. So well worth a look, particularly for maths and engineering teams we've found. This is just a quick one, looking at Google Classroom, which I'm sure many of you are conscious of and may even be using. But the reason I've included this in the 10 EdTech recommendations list is because the annotation tool in Google Classroom was really, really well received by engineering in particular, maths and automotive actually were using it as well to assess, and I used it as well. And teaching and learning, our evening course used it, and accounting, because in those courses there was elements whereby the teacher needed to assess. David, with you in just one sec, my friend. The teacher needed to assess, but they didn't want necessarily to add comments or even a voice note or even a screencast. They wanted to sketch and doodle on the actual work itself. By doing this on Google Classroom, you can actually sketch and draw on the student's work and it creates a PDF copy of the work. So you can actually sketch on top using the iPad, using just your finger. And it saves another copy of the actual work, keeping the original as is, but adding a separate second version of the student's work. Quite useful when you give that template out to students and for them to actually make their own copy and to draw on it. But equally good for the teachers to actually annotate and give their feedback on the work, and it creates a second PDF for you in Google Classroom. Really powerful tool. David, please go ahead.
Thank you, Scott. Is this called Google Classroom?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm looking for an app that would help in like a mechanics group where, say, they've got like a job card to complete on different services they've got to carry out on a car. Where it can like read the text for them, and then they can speak in the answers into the form.
Absolutely.
Would that benefit this, do you think?
It really would. There's another tool called Showbie, which I'm going to share with you shortly, which is well worth considering as well. Let me just have a little look at, just ping this to you in the chat. So in the chat, you'll notice I've put a form. Now, as I've just pinged that to you, I remember that you said you're joining us from Wales today. And I wonder whether this form will relate to Welsh schools and colleges. The form I've just shared is to get free EdTech support from our college, which we're more than happy to do. But the Department for Education are funding it, David. So I wonder whether it's applicable to you. It's worth a go, though, mate, because we'd love to help you. Okay. Google Classroom would absolutely be a wonderful tool for this. But equally, Showbie, if you're using iPads, is something to consider. And I'll come on to Showbie in just a moment, something we've started to have a look at recently. But I think, yeah, Classroom, I mean, I'm not barely scraping the surface with this. I think it's a magnificent tool. We've been using it for 5 years at the college. It is our VLE, Google Classroom. And I'm happy to talk to you more about that in another call, perhaps, David.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
No problem at all, mate. Another one we like is Apple Clips on iPad. Really nice, elegant, simple tool. Justin in hospitality captured videos of himself, as you can see in the top right-hand corner here, showing demos and how-tos, showing people how he could do hoisin pork noodles using a particular menu template. Pop-up text and annotations to give his students guidance as to what he was doing. He would create one of these pretty much every other week, and his students could then rewind them, revisit, pause, revise from them as many times as they wanted in an asynchronous manner, as it were, on demand. And then they could add comments underneath the video on YouTube or in Google Classroom, and they could access the learning, as it were. Now, of course, we'd rather be in the kitchen doing it alongside each other, but in lieu of that, this was a really powerful tool. It helped him to actually create these how-to guides, which now we're back in the actual kitchen, are still being used. For the students on iPads in the hospitality space and on their phones as well, in the kitchen and their classrooms, are watching these clips and going through and getting their ingredients and using it as a guide, a digital version of Justin to help them, as it were, as they go through the actual recipe. Now, Justin and hospitality team have really embraced using a lot of EdTech, and iPad and clips in particular. Someone like Justin, who by his own admission is not somebody who is perhaps as attuned to technology as as other teachers have been, used this tool as his in. It really opened up so many doors, and now my colleague Jay, who's on this call, actually has been working with him to do some really cool things recently. We've got another session on how we've used video in teaching and learning, which we're doing next week, actually, which I recommend signing up for. So Apple Clips, wonderful tool. And what's good about Apple Clips is that by giving a little video to our students, like so, in Google Classroom, and David, this is what Google Classroom looks like in terms of posting and assignments. You can see that we can attach documents, make copies for students, share PowerPoints or slides, share YouTube videos, because Google owns YouTube, it's got a nice integration, and give the students guidance as to what they need to do. So typically the teacher would give an Apple Clips little video walkthrough, give them some guidance, and the students would go away from the video call and capture their evidence. And then, as you can see on the screen now, photograph it, record videos themselves with their iPads or other in Google Classroom for the teacher to give feedback on. Really, really cool. Yeah, Clips, really, really nice tool. And there's another video tool I want to share in just a moment, actually, which is, I think, just as good. Before I share that one, let me talk about this. Explain Everything. So Explain Everything is a brilliant iPad app. It's also available in the web browser now, which is pretty good. But again, that touchscreen approach, I think, is really important here in terms of making it more accessible for more people, students and staff. What Explain Everything does is allows you to create explainer videos, essentially, where you can add media, you can add in documents, PDFs, images, web content, and you can press the red button and record yourself as you're pinching and zooming and sketching, and it creates a video for you, an explainer video of you talking through and pointing to different elements of the actual lesson. It can be a bit overwhelming at times because of the sheer volume of different tools, but in terms of iPad app that can do an enormous amount for both entry level, as it were, teachers getting used to technology, and really sophisticated experts, as it were, I think it is one of the most powerful tools. So using Explain Everything to press the red button and to record the screen as we pinch and zoom and add in shapes, graphics, really powerful. We've made some explainer videos on Explain Everything, which I'll be happy to share with you all after this session as well for you to delve deeper into, because I appreciate I haven't got enough time to look at through everything in detail, and there might be a few things you're making notes of you want to revisit. This explainer video from one of our team will help you to see how rich and detailed this incredible tool is. And again, available in the web browser, but it's that iPad app that really makes it sing, really sets it apart. So yeah, well worth a look, I reckon. Here's some examples of the maths team using it to actually show equations. So pressing the red button and using different tools, our maths teachers can sketch and draw and outline, much like Joe did with Jamboard, how to actually go through particular procedures. Jamboard might be sufficient for a lot of the tasks a lot of the time. It's less intimidating as well, Jamboard, for a lot of teachers and students. But for that level above, I think Explain Everything is an exceptional piece of EdTech that is very fun and nice to capture evidence of learning, and also teaching for explainer videos for the students as well. So we've been using this for about 3 years now, and it's been picked up quite well in maths. I'm looking to do more videos next year as well on the iPad. Again, that tangible, physical, interactive approach makes it a little easier to use than using it on a web browser we've found. Next one is Google Chat, which, while not exclusively an iPad app, was really effective on the iPad for a lot of our teachers because of the fact that the teachers could press a button and launch into a video call, could upload and integrate with all the other Google apps which they had on their iPad as well. The Google and Apple integration was particularly well received by a lot of our staff and students. They really complemented each other nicely, made it quite a frictionless environment for them to communicate with each other and to stay in touch when working on projects and also with their fellow teachers. The ability to give emoji feedback on each other's responses to work and to updates and just to check in on each other is a really nice feature in Google Chat that, again, not exclusive to only iPad, but was used really effectively and voted for by a lot of the teachers that I spoke to before making this presentation today. It's one of their favorite apps that they used. The clean, minimalistic, simplistic interface was similar to WhatsApp, they said, and made it nice and easy for them to share documents, to share emojis, to launch into video calls, to upload files, to take a photograph on the iPad and upload a file as they were working with each other. Here's an example of our staff room, our all staff room Google Chat, whereby you can see staff here share images taken on iPads and share videos and screenshots and comments and like and respond to each other's work. This is something that we've been growing over the last year, and access to technology such as the iPad has meant we've had a lot more staff joining in and interacting and sharing visuals and sharing updates with us on different tasks and different ideas. What's good about it is where you can run a search on a word and it filters through to find that particular word rather than endlessly scrolling trying to find something somebody said in that chat. You know what chat groups are like, get a bit noisy, don't they, after a while? Here we can see some students interacting and talking using Google Chat, using different devices, not just iPads, but on iPad in particular with our teachers, it's been used particularly effectively to capture photography evidence, as you can see here on the right-hand side, and also to capture video evidence and sharing it into the chat group. The chat tool really brings together a lot of the different EdTech that we use. Really recommend it. It's WhatsApp using our professional Google accounts, essentially. This could be my favorite one. This one's Miro. So Miro is a whiteboard tool that, if Jamboard is your beginner entry and Explain Everything is that medium, so intermediate level, I think Miro might be that expert professional level, to be honest with you. Here's me using it on the iPad. It's a free tool whereby you can give templates to your students, and the students can run around, move around to different spaces and work in real time alongside each other using different templates that you give them. Now, this might be a bit overwhelming looking at it, and I can see that, but what is powerful about this is that it enables you to see where all your students are, what they're doing at the same time using pre-built templates, professional grade templates. And it's really quite fun seeing them all fly around in their mouses on the screen, actually move into different spaces. But here's that expert level, I would argue, in terms of using EdTech. Here's an example of how it looks in the classroom. And yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming in terms of the sheer amount of activity, but exciting though, I'll tell you that. Watching them all fly around and work collaboratively and problem solve and add emojis on each other's work and use the templates to solve problems. You can make it using the iPad app, Miro. You can use it on a web browser as well, like I'm doing just there. But the iPad app is particularly effective because of the templates and the fact you can pinch and zoom and add real detail to the workspace the students work in. All the templates are built. I didn't make any of these templates. They were all there for me. I created them for the students to help them manage their time. Yeah, really good. Miro's a real winner, I think, and free. So the students, you can see their cursors, they fly around and work in different spaces. And there's me as the teacher looking over them as they, like little worker bees, buzz around and actually use that space, that hive of activity, as it were, captured. Yeah, really enjoyed using that. Another one that was really well received and popular is Wakelet. So Wakelet is a research gathering tool, essentially. You know what it's like when you see news articles or social media posts or videos and you think, oh, God, that's really good. I haven't got the time. What Wakelet does is enables you to just save it into a nice, clean, simple interface for you to go back and look at when you've got that time. What Wakelet does enables our students and staff to gather collections of links for their research, for ideas. They can work collaboratively to create different examples of a research category. For example, I'm looking into digital well-being quite a lot these days. So if I find something that relates to that, I can add it to my Wakelet. I can add it into different categories. And I can share that collection with other people who can work with me to keep adding to that list. As a way to curate and crowdsource using the hive mind again, different links on a topic When you're starting a project, when you're researching something, when you're just gathering cool things in one place, Wakelet is far and away the most powerful tool we've encountered. Organize it very nicely. The iPad app is particularly slick. The interface of it is very nice, very easy to use. You can sign in using your school or college account. It all auto saves in the cloud, and you can work with other people to build and curate these collections. As you can see, I've got quite a few going at the moment. All my half-formed ideas get put into Wakelet, and from that, I build them into things like this, presentations. It plays really nicely with all the other EdTech as well, whether it be Microsoft Teams, whether it be Google Classroom, OneNote. So it's really nice and elegant in that sense. Really recommend it. Again, much like all these tools, free. One of the last ones I want to share with you is Adobe Premiere Rush, which is a video editing tool. So Clips is one I shared earlier on with you, which is probably a beginner entry-level video tool, I would argue. That and iMovie, quite similar. Premiere Rush is that probably intermediate level, I would argue. It enables you using the iPad to capture and edit quite simply with nice pop-up explainer bubbles to help guide you, using wonderful free templates like this. Really nice posts. Now I know health and social care and hair and beauty courses at our college were using this tool, Premiere Rush, on the iPad to actually create wonderful little social media posts and videos of their work to share with the assessors on their apprenticeships and with their teachers on their courses. When they're in lockdown and they had their time in their hands, capturing these little photographs, videos, and then editing them to actually make them look professional using Adobe Premiere Rush was something that really helped elevate their digital skills. The elegance and simplicity of the tools to adjust, manipulate, and edit is quite wonderful. And what's really important with this is you don't have to be an expert. You can pick up the tool, download the app, and away you go. Really nice in terms of capturing evidence and good for making explainer videos as well. I made a quick one in about 5 to 10 minutes this took. So little vlog of me talking. I was trying to get my Adobe Creative Educator badge and they asked me to make a little video. So I used Premiere Rush and I shot it just over there using the natural light. And yeah, black and white filter, pop up boxes to illustrate what I was saying. In about 10 minutes time, I got that created. Makes it look like I was working a lot harder than I was. One of the common themes of a lot of these tools is the fact that the artificial intelligence co-designs with the human to actually make these things better, to actually improve them. So I think that's a really powerful thing. There's no reason why we can't use these tools for that reason, to help us to make things that are more effective, to focus on the learning, to focus on the quality of the content rather than to faff about the technology. Here's something I'm looking to use in particular in September, and with our makeup and beauty team, we've had a few mentions today. This is Showbie, Showbie. So David, you mentioned earlier on about something to capture evidence for your automotive team, or certainly using motor vehicles, I think you may have mentioned. Showbie is a really powerful tool. It enables you to actually look at work, to annotate it, to add audio feedback, video feedback, all using the iPad app. It plays really nicely with so much other technology as well. So students can capture video, can capture image, and upload evidence of their understanding, their process, the behind the scenes, as it were, and use that interspersed with text, with typed up comments, to create this rich tapestry, as it were, of different evidence of learning. A teacher using the Showbie app can give that rich feedback as well, and you get this lovely dialectic, this back and forth of the learning, the feedback, the learning, the feedback, in terms of being one of the best EdTech tools for that flow, that feedback flow. Showbie's up there. It really is. And if you're using iPads, then be foolish not to consider it. The feedback facility in particular, the focus on that from the design of this product makes it intriguing to me. And we use Google Classroom primarily. I'm using a bit of Microsoft Teams next year as well, but Showbie I can see being used on some of our courses some of the time. The simplicity and the reliability of the workflow is really, really important. The teacher workload improvement with the simplicity of pressing a button to record the feedback, kind of incredible. The fact it doesn't necessarily replace what you've got, but enhances and builds upon it. That's an incredible thing. Abdul, somebody I met years ago, has been using this for some years in the school he taught at. Really powerful. So here we've got an example of a Romeo and Juliet clip and him recording a voiceover, annotating it, teaching using Showbie. This app can do so much, and it's one of the most elegant tools that I've seen on the market in a long time. Well worth considering. The fact it's cross-platform, the fact you can use it in the cloud, the fact that it plays so nicely with iPad, the fact it's got that in-app video aspect of it as well. Screen recording, as we see with Abdul just there. The fact it facilitates this back and forth, that class discussion. Feedback tools up to 30 minutes, there it is. That's the reason I'm sharing this at the end, is that I think that this brings together a lot of the things that we're looking to do. So Showbie, well worth a look. Last thing before I wrap things up, because I appreciate I've been talking for some time. Digital wellbeing apps. We're increasingly conscious of making sure our students are using these tools professionally rather than having these tools use them, mining them for data to learn how to sell products to them better, which a lot of social media, of course, and technology does. It's important to us that we use technology in a way that helps learning and helps them have a good relationship with technology. Here's some free apps that can be used on iPad to actually help our students get a better relationship with technology. I use, for example, Youper, which is an artificial intelligence emotional well-being assistant, which chats to me, checks in on me, makes sure I'm okay, makes sure that I'm getting good, my sleep, my diet, my exercise, and does little MOTs on me essentially to find out how I'm getting on. I use that quite a lot. Really helps me, I've got to be honest, and don't want to burden humans sometimes with my thoughts, but sometimes a little check like that to make me reflect and to do meditative exercises is really good. Forest is another one. I'll just quickly talk about. Forest is good if you're like me and you're addicted to your devices. You are like me, you're addicted to your devices. It helps you to stop endlessly scrolling. It helps you to be more mindful about the way you use these tools. It helps you to stop endlessly looking for the bottom of that scroll, because when you do, a forest grows, a tree grows, a bush grows, and a little beautiful village grows on your screen every time you stay away from the phone for 25 minutes or an hour, whatever it might be. It gamifies the experience of leaving your phone alone, and it's quite addictive in a more positive way, let's say. My students are quite liking that at the moment. 6 pillars of my life are similar in the sense they are about mindfulness and about using technology with intention and focus to help us. And the meditative aspects of my life and 6 pillars and the prompts about your well-being are really nice. Okay, I'm going to start to wrap things up then. So we're here to help schools and colleges with free peer-to-peer, teacher-to-teacher support. That was us sharing about 10 different EdTech recommendations for iPad. We are really keen on working with people in one-to-ones and small teams, and of course your entire school or college if you like. Free peer-to-peer, teacher-to-teacher support, which is backed by the Department for Education. So we're funded by the DFE to do this, and we love doing it. It's really nice helping other schools and colleges. I'll put this on the screen at the end. That's my details where you can reach out to us if you want to work with us. We really like collaborating with other people. Something I will just share before I close up though is this. Becoming an Apple teacher is something we can help with. So an Apple teacher is a lovely badge you can get whereby you go through the Apple Teacher portal, make your account, and use their wonderful resources to help you understand the different Apple tools, from GarageBand to Pages to iMovie. These free resources on this free program help you to better use your iPad in a way that helps improve teaching and learning and assessment. Now, we've all done it on my team. We really enjoyed doing it because it really helped us to understand just how much of the capacity of this wonderful tool. You go through quizzes after looking through the modules, and it gives you your feedback, instant feedback on how you've done. If you manage to get all the badges for each of the tools, then you get your Apple Teacher badge, and that's a thing to be proud of indeed. So, if you want help with your Apple Teacher badges, if you want help with anything EdTech related, please reach out to us. We've got another event this time next week, looking at video for teaching and learning. My colleagues Jay and Brad will be leading on, and I'll be there with them as well because I love video in teaching and learning. It's my thing. So I'm going to be there with them, helping them with that as well. So yeah, that's us. If you want help at all with anything, please get in touch. We are here to help you. Okay, thank you. I'll just put on the screen my details. Any questions, anybody?
No, I just want to say, Scott, that was absolutely fantastic. Gave us a really good insight on what tools are available on the iPad. So thank you very much.
Ah, it's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Lovely. Yes, we're here to help and share different tools, and love doing it. So yeah, anything you need, please get in touch. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? If not, feel free to go and live your lives, get some dinner.
Thanks.
Thank you.